I'm Jimmy Johnson. This is Bullford 82. So I cleaned off my table here. I don't know if you can tell. And I got my M5OD here that I blew totally trashed the cluster shaft on this. You probably aren't going to be able to see because, you know, the camera won't focus very well, but this thing's all jammed up right here. Oh, this was part of a roller bearing. Yeah, we lost a roller bearing in here, and that's for one thing. This bearing down here might be toast because this will then come out. There we go. Oh. Yeah, see, this is still brand new looking, but look at that bearing. Oh. Oh. Howdy folks, welcome back to Bullford 82. In this video we're going to finish tearing down some of the main parts in our M5OD transmission. What I'm looking for is just for any extra parts that I need to replace. Specifically bearings like this in the main gears, such as third and fourth. I already know off the bat from the last video we did where we investigated and looked at what actually failed in this transmission. We know the shaft snapped and the fifth gear, actually no, the reverse gear, roller bearing, this guy here, this one's counterpart went. So I almost forgot. When I ordered parts, I have a new shaft and bearing kit and seal kit on the way, but I almost forgot to order one of these. In fact, I actually ordered two of these since they were $7. So this one we're gonna patooey. And when I went and ordered it, I counted how many bearings are here, or rollers, and matched up with the one they had in the picture. So this is the reverse gear, so it's like, okay, that makes sense. So yeah, this takes two of those. We're lucky this gear didn't get totally trashed. I was going to replace this one, but in order to just save some money, I decided not to replace it. It's in okay shape, it's not too terribly bad. I also ordered a new retainer plate. So I got about $40 for retainer plate and a couple bearings plus shipping. And we're off and running. We're working on the M5OD-R2 that we're putting in the 85 Ford F-150 with the 302. Carbureted 302 that we converted from EFI. I've been bouncing around between putting a manual or keeping the automatic, rebuilding another automatic for it. And I keep coming back to the manual transmission swap, mostly because it's a lot cheaper. So that's what I'm doing. I have an M5OD here that came out of my other truck. This one I had broke the cluster shaft, and I think a lot of it was just from shocking this too much. Wrong end. Shocking this too much by throwing it in fifth gear without the clutch. Guilty of it. I did it quite a bit, and a couple times I may have banged it into fifth gear, and I think this is the end result. So what we're doing, because the debris that came from that fracture destroyed mainly the cluster shaft bearings, we're going to go ahead and do a light rebuild. And what I mean by a light rebuild is we're not replacing the synchronizers. This transmission was actually rebuilt about 5 years ago, I think, by me and a friend. My friend Scott, he mostly did the rebuild on it, and I just helped him with little tidbit stuff. But this time now I'm a little more mechanically inclined with this kind of stuff because I've been doing a lot of, watched him build it, and I'm a little older now, I know a little bit more, so I think I'll be able to, and I have more tools, so I'll be able to do this by myself. But yeah, so the synchronizers, they're still good. I've never really, found them and ground them kind of thing. So the synchronizers are good, and I really never had any problems shifting into gears. So I'm not too worried about that. Plus, these synchronizers are broken, and I was liking how it was shifting with how well they were broken. So we broke the cluster shaft. I just ordered up a new cluster shaft. I had to. This project's being postponed because the parts that I was ordering, they were back ordered. So I found another company that I actually used with this transmission before. I just forgot their name. I went through them and ordered a rebuild kit that has the bearing, the seals, tail housing gasket, brass shift plugs, shifter bushings, which we need all that. So yeah, all that is coming. That was in stock according to their computer, so I got that on order. I will need to order this plate because, and we're lucky this didn't damage the case, but the bearing in here was starting to spin. You can see this groove, and it was doing this because of the Brinelling that was going on in that bearing area. So what I want to do now, because I kind of want to clean this main shaft. This is our main shaft. It's got the output on it that goes to the transfer case. I want to get this apart and just kind of clean it up. There goes my knee. And also we need to get this bearing off because we're going to need to take this stuff off too and check it out, clean up the bearings, put some assembly lube in there, and then once we get our parts we can drop our new bearing on. So this guy here, this has got, I think this is 3rd gear. We got a little pocket bearing. I don't believe these come in the rebuild kit, but I want to clean these up. Might even do a bearing rotation on them. So that would go in there like that. And then this guy goes in like that. Uh-oh. Okay, I'm gonna show you something here. If you take these sliders apart and you spring and sprung your keys, what you want to do is also make sure your hands are really clean. Actually, I do want to take this all apart and brake clean it. Put it together with some assembly lube. Now this recess here is where your springs sit in. And take the springs out. Take them out of their spot. And then you can drop the key right in here. And there's a little circle on here, an alignment circle, that lines up with any one of these notches. That's how you get it aligned. The key will drop in there. Same thing with this one. Goes in there. Find your other one. Take your spring in here. Now get it down in there and find your groove. That goes in your groove. Make sure it's locked into your keyways there. And then be careful not to pop that back out again. And same thing, we'll hook her into a loop there. Actually, it's going to be like this. And you want to make sure that all your keys are trapped by the spring. And then just don't move it around until you're ready to mess with it. Now the fun part. Getting that bearing off. You ready? just start doing stuff like that. Do that. There we go. And we nick the shaft a tiny bit, so that'll snap. Okay, let's go ahead and get this off. That gear is mighty warm. Then on top of that, we did kind of nick that a little bit, but she'll be all right. Synchronizer. Just want to inspect them and make sure they're not wore out. You want all these ridges here. These hold oil, and they also bite into the. They bite onto the cone of the surface that the slider engages. So we'll do something like that. And we'll take those apart and clean them up. Again, check the synchronizer. These are all nice and sharp. They don't even look used, actually, which is pretty good. And we want to check all these surfaces for any major wear. These all look pretty good for every transmission I've seen. Manual transmission, they look pretty good. This inside area is important too. We got some buildup of material in there that needs to be cleaned out. Yeah, we'll go through and we'll clean all these up. We're gonna treat this like an automatic. So anyways, that's our main shaft. I'm probably not gonna do it today. I'm gonna do it a later day. I'm going to I'll set up my stuff to pressure wash the transmission case. All right.